Welcome to MMA Dawgs. My name is Hector, and of course, I am happy here to be sharing this video and taking a look at UFC 167. And man, this card is stacked from top to bottom. And so a couple things before we dive into it and start talking about it and all that good stuff is, first thing, you always want to make sure that the amount of money that you are betting on this particular fight card or any card is an amount that you can afford to lose, because we go into this thing with the best of intentions, wanting only to win, only to profit. And I know some of you guys go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to hit this parlay and it's going to cash and I'm going to get out of the hole or this or that. And 99.9% of the time, that's not the case. Unfortunately, because I wish we could all win at all the times and wish all the parlays and all that good stuff. But so that's the first thing. You got to be responsible about it. And then the second thing is you want to make sure that you check the law of the land there that you live in. So whether it's in the U.S. or worldwide, just make sure that where you're living you can legally bet. And if not, go somewhere where you can bet, like Vegas or I don't know, somewhere where it's within your traveling distance, and you can bet your little heart's content. So that pretty much wraps it up for that. And if you're watching this video before the fights take place, then you are a client, and we appreciate your business. And like I said, we go into this with the, having done the homework, studied the tape, listened to the interviews, watched the weigh-ins, reference back and forth. I mean, there's just a lot of work that goes into these picks. So, we're not just pulling rabbits out of the hat here. The last two UFC events, we have gone 10-0, 10 wins, 0 losses. That includes a 5-star play, which, as you guys know, is a large to huge play. Multiple 4-star plays. So those are medium to large plays, parlay worthy. So for you guys who are into parlays, you could parlay those. And then a lot of some of those inside the distance prop bets. So plenty of profit. And when things are going that well, you want to make sure, as Joey Odessa, a guy who's been involved in MMA, he's one of the leading sportsbook odds makers, says you don't want to get caught speeding. And that's a great way to think of it. You don't want to get caught speeding. You got to be careful. You can't be running around tooting your own horn and jumping up and down and talking about this. And one thing I want to say is I personally don't like to speak as a matter of fact kind of thing, like as a matter of fact. But in this business, it's very difficult to not talk that way. I try to be as humble as I can. I say, like, for example, when I talk about this is going to happen, that's going to happen, sometimes I say, like, knock on wood, or I try to say something that I get it. I'm awake. I know that things don't always go as planned, and that's why we don't bet your farm on things, And so I never want to come off as like a know-it-all or somebody who thinks that they're untouchable or invincible. I guess those are the words that I'm looking for. So that pretty much wraps that up. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and let me get some of this. There we go. Got a long distance reach here. So let's go straight into it. Let's go. Like I said, remember I told you guys last week I got these lying around everywhere, all around the house. I got notes and I got all kinds of stuff on the desk and by the computer and all this and all that. So let's go straight into it. Let's just dive right into the meat and potatoes of this thing. So we got MMA Dawgs, UFC 167, betting picks. These are picks that are worthy of our guarantee. And for this week, there is one guaranteed bet. It's a 4-star play. So 3 stars, small to medium, do not parlay. 4 stars, medium to large, parlay worthy, and then 5 stars are large to huge, parlay worthy plays. This particular card, guys, I'm telling you right now, I am just, like I said earlier in the video, I don't like to speak as a matter of fact, but I am as certain as I can get personally that there are going to be some upsets on this fight card. Now, I referenced Joey Odessa earlier, and the reason, one of the other things that I want to share with you guys is one thing that I thought of, that I personally started figuring out over the years, and thankfully for me, it didn't take me very long. But it's a trap. It's like when you're driving on the highway, and the highway patrol setup, and there's a trap, and they're getting people as they get caught speeding, get driving by. And that is that a value bet, a losing bet, is, it doesn't matter what kind of value there is in it, or what kind of I lost the bet, but it was a value bet. And that's I referenced Joey, because props to him, because he put it best. He said something along the lines of, you never see guys jumping up and down saying, "Oh, I won this bet, and it was a value bet, and it was a value bet." Guys are jumping up and down saying, "Yeah, I won, woo, yeah, I won." They're not saying, "Oh, and it was a." But when guys lose, what do guys do? They say, "Ah, damn it, shit. Ah, but it was a value bet. It was in the value, and it almost happened, and I missed it by 1. And, next time I'll get it. I'll get it next time." And that's a trap that we can all fall into, especially in MMA. Especially in MMA, when all it takes is one guy to have shown us, he's showing us that he's going downhill, and boom, all of a sudden he comes back. Or, he doesn't want it anymore, and then boom, all of a sudden he busts your parlay. So the reason I'm starting this video off with this kind of talk is because this is one of those cards where I personally feel that there are going to be upsets, and I'll go dive into all of them and why I think it'll happen. I'll give you my predictions, and you can reference them, and you can make sure that I'm not making stuff up and all that good stuff. So the one betting pick that I'm going to guarantee is Rashad Evans. You can find him as low as -175 right now, which that implies a 63% chance of winning. I have Rashad Evans, after watching the weigh-ins, after seeing what shape he's coming in, after seeing what shape Chael Sonnen is not coming in. I have him right now at 80% chance of winning, which is -400. And obviously, he's not sitting at -400. He's sitting at -175. Rashad Evans is in great shape. He's going to be too explosive, too fast for Chael. He can do everything that Chael can do, but better. He's focused. As we all know, he's been at the Black Zillions. But the tear that Vitor Belfort has been on, and his understudy, Cesar Muchanch Ferreira, once the guys start going like that, it's contagious, and Rashad is contagious. So he's got whatever they've got, they're gonna win. They've been winning. Rashad Evans is going to win, and I feel very, very confident. 4-star play, medium to large bet, and everything just points in that direction. The other thing that I think about with Chael is he already has a commitment lined up with Vanderlei Silva to fight him down in Brazil. So weighing in at 206, looking as soft as I've ever seen him look. Rashad Evans weighing in at 205, looking ripped, in shape. And I know he went up to New York to train for a couple weeks, and he's got Kenny Monday over there training him also. So it's just like, man, this guy, you can tell that he knows what's up. He knows what's going on. He knows his current situation. Coming in shape. At worst, knock on wood, at worst, I see Rashad winning a decision. But I expect Rashad Evans to finish Chael Sonnen via knockout TKO, probably in the second round. Could be sooner, could be later. But I just see Rashad. And one thing that stands out is when they faced off, no shake of the hand, And these two guys are competitors. First of all, they're MMA fighters. They're alpha males. They sit next to each other. They don't have any bad will towards each other, but they're competitive. You know, one guy wants to be better than the other. They're not going to go in there and not want to win. You know, they're going to want to win. But I think Chael is just too stretched out too thin. You know, with the TV, especially with the TV, mostly with the TV. Then he's no longer training up in Oregon. He's training down here in LA. So just too many things with Chael. And this just reminds me of one of the fights that I've predicted in the past, where one guy, everything just leans his way, and that's where we're putting all the chips in, putting them all in there with Sugar Rashad Evans. So that's the play. No need to go to try to be cute and try to do this and try to do that and try to stretch it out. You know, we're on a nice 10-0 run here. You know, in this fight, I'm telling you guys right now, at the end of Saturday, you're gonna be looking back and thinking, no, why? Me and my dog say, no, why? When we joke around about stuff, man, why did that have to happen? And you missed it by one and this and that. And I've just learned too many lessons over the years. And you know, I may be young, but man, I've been involved in sports since I was a toddler. So I'm very familiar with these situations, and I'm going all in. Sugar Rashad, I guarantee it. If Sugar Rashad Evans doesn't win, I'll refund you your $35 you paid for this video, which I invested a lot of time in, and I don't want to be wasting anybody's time, especially not my own. So let's move right along. So food for thought. Not guaranteed picks below. Now I rank these in three separate tiers. The first tier is almost made the cut. So let's talk about my first almost made the cut pick. And that is George Rush St-Pierre. Now, as I watch the fights, as I look at the records, as I look at everything that has to do with GSP, cerebral fighter, very smart, laser-like focus, just constant improvements, game plan master, a hard worker, and he just might possibly be the best UFC fighter that we have seen to date. And I'm just very impressed with this guy. He just completely submerges himself in the fight game, in his opponent. Just complete, total concentration and focus. And that is something that I just cannot ignore. No matter what kind of power or this or that or whatever somebody has. GSP has faced the best top guys, and everybody said, oh, this guy's going to beat him. And remember Dan Hardy? People were saying that Dan Hardy was going to knock out GSP. And, of course, Hendricks is way better than Dan Hardy, but you get the point, right? People have been saying, oh, they're going to beat him and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Now, Hendricks, oh, this guy's tough wrestler from Oklahoma. Just a tough guy with knockout power, just boom, right? Hendricks, I know he's improved since then. I get that. But Hendricks couldn't knock out Story. He couldn't knock out Pierce. As a matter of fact, all he could do was win a split. He couldn't knock out Koscheck. As a matter of fact, all he could do was win a split. And GSP, in my opinion, MMA has superior MMA wrestling. And definitely better striking than Story, Pierce, or Koscheck. You combine all those three guys, and you include, and GSP beats them all. And GSP's got the superior mindset. Half of fighting is a mindset, if not more. You gotta get up, you gotta go train. You can't mentally be weak at any point. And I feel like GSP may have been in the past, but as far as maybe doubting himself a little bit, but those days are long gone. If you guys watch a Carlos Condit fight, the way he came back from that one, yeah, he got caught. But you know what? Carlos Condit had Carlos Condit. I just remember something else I was going to share with you guys that is very important. Had Carlos Condit had a 5-round fight with Johny Hendricks, which I want to say right now, I've been a big time Johny Hendricks fan, and I used to think before the Carlos Condit fight, I used to think that Johny Hendricks was going to beat GSP. During the Carlos Condit fight, I realized that Hendricks, I believe he's improved his cardio, so I think he'll give us 3 hard rounds. But if you look at the 3rd round of Carlos Condit, he was on his way to rounds 4 and 5, definitely losing, if not being finished. And I think we'll see the best GSP that we have seen yet. I will not be at all shocked if GSP has his first finish that he's had in years in the 5th round and the 4th round, if he gets that far. But I was a big fan. I'm a fan of all these guys, but I was a big supporter of Hendricks, and I was thinking, man, I'm gonna make some more money off of this guy when he fights GSP. But I can't. After what I saw with the Carlos Condit fight, I can't do it. Especially when Carlos Condit threw everything at him, but the kitchen sink, and he still couldn't beat him. And he still couldn't beat GSP. And I know that they're different fighters, but I can't see GSP going out like that, and that's why he is the pick. But as far as the bet goes, this one I want to sit back, enjoy, not have to worry about Hendricks landing the big punch, not have to worry about the 25 minutes, the GSP. You know, it's just there's too much risk involved in this fight, and it's a do not bet for me. Perhaps you have a different lean, or perhaps something that I said triggers something you thought about, and you have proven to be right in the past, or something along those lines. So best of luck to you on that one, but that I can't play that one. Now, moving on to the next one, Tyron Woodley versus Josh, the 35-year-old, almost 36-year-old welterweight. Now, Woodley's on the rise. The Shields loss, to me, doesn't give me any worries. Jake Shields is a very underrated fighter. I have underestimated him in the past, especially when he fought Damian Maia. And Jake Shields just finds ways to win. And it was a split decision loss. I believe Woodley definitely grew and learned from that fight. I will not be surprised at all if Tyron Woodley knocks out Josh Koscheck, but it could go to decision, so that's a risky one there. He's better. He's a faster, better, younger version of Koscheck with knockout power. And the reason I can't bet it is because I've seen guys count it out like Koscheck before, and they show up all of a sudden, and then it's like, pissing on your parade. Talk about, oh man, shit, missed it by 1. There's no need for that. And although I will say I do favor Woodley, and it was very tough to resist that particular fight. But I will bring up something later on this video that we can talk about if you're into risking and little fun bets, not serious money. All right. Now, the next one, Thales Leites, going up against Herman. Now, Leites, in his last fight, impressed me because Tom Kong Watson, in my opinion, is underrated. I know what Watson trains like. I know who he trains with. That guy is just tough, man. And Leites, in my opinion, made Kong look like nothing. He trains at Novo Niao with Andre Pederneiras, who I have a lot of respect for. He's a great coach. He's got excellent jiu-jitsu, world-class jiu-jitsu. Leites is very tough. There's a fight that I'll never forget. His fight he had with Nate Marquardt. Nate Marquardt picked him up and slammed him on his neck, on his head. And that's actually one of my favorite fights of all time. And Leites is very, very tough. He's been in bigger situations this before. We saw the debacle, the embarrassment that he had with Anderson Silva. Well, I believe he's past that. I don't think he'll challenge for the title again, but I think he's definitely better than Herman. And the reason I'm so familiar with Herman, the reason I'm so comfortable saying that is because I'm very familiar with Herman. I'll never forget the fight he had with Starks. I had Herman as a 4-star pick. I had some good money on him, and in the I believe it was in the first round. I think it was the first round. Starks had him in all kinds of trouble, and I started thinking, my God, you've got to be kidding me. And I think Herman, for as much excitement and entertainment he's provided, he's on his way out. So he's on his way out. He's talking about the experience he's had in the UFC, which is good. He's talking about that he wouldn't trade it for anything, which is good. But for somebody like ourselves who are looking at this to bet, that's a red flag. So I like Thales Leites. He almost made the cut once again, but just a little bit. He just needed a little bit more. Another guy that almost made the cut. This is my last almost made the cut, and that is Rick Story. Now, with this one, the thing that stands out the most about this is that Rick Story spent 8 weeks at TriStar. 8 weeks training with Rory MacDonald and GSP. And for us, a hobby and all those beasts. I can't ignore that. Cannot ignore that. And this guy, man, I'm so close to pulling the trigger on him, but I can't do it. Because Ebersole is so sneaky, such a tricky guy. And like I said before, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes and pisses on our parade. And you know, it's just, I do not want that. But Ebersole's been out for a year and a half. And that's just a big old flag against him. So I really do like Story. He's a big lean here, but you know, I've seen Story with a Mike Pyle fight. You know, his in octagon IQ, his fight IQ is just not. It's not where I want it to be, and you can't be gambling on guys like that. That's a gamble. That's not an investment. That's a gamble, and I'm into investments. And so, with that said, I got to pass on that one. Now, a level below almost made the cut, so I'll go over these. A lot of times these are because of the odds, you know. I'm not, like I said in the past, you know, I'm not a big odds or value or this kind of guy, which is why I like listening to interviews and everything that has to do with talking MMA and betting and like I said, Joey Odessa, I think he put it best, you know, when he talks about value bets, and that's the exact same way I feel about it, you know. And a level below almost made the cut, and the first guy here is Erik Perez going up against Figueroa here. The odds on Perez are just ridiculous right now, and he will win. He should win here. He should finish Figueroa, whether he wants to submit him or knock him out. Probably get the knockout here. Perez, Greg Jackson fighter. I have a lot of respect for Greg, and I believe the Mizugaki fight was a learning experience for him. But the juice on this fight is just ridiculous. I mean, that's just insanity. And no need to risk that kind of money, especially when anything can happen. But Perez, you know, I feel very good about him winning the fight. But those odds, that's just ridiculous. Jason High, that's my other pick. So Perez was my pick on the last fight. Jason High is my next pick. He's my pick there, going up against Lapsley. He's a better wrestler. And his submission game is better. Lapsley wins by submission, but then he gets submitted when he fights better fighters. So I see High getting the takedown, getting the submission. Definitely going with High there on that one. Another guy, though, minus 300 or higher. Nah, no way. Especially with his chin issues. And then this next one is very interesting to me. And originally when this matchup got announced, Robbie Lawler versus Rory MacDonald. Oh, Rory MacDonald's going to kill him and this and that. That was my initial gut. Usually my initial gut is right. But in this case, you know, after watching the fight film and the footage and looking at everything, you know, I usually don't go for these kind of things, but I have a feeling about this one based off everything. Now with Lawler, we get power, a ton of power, and I feel like he's found his rhythm. Everything indicates to me that he's found his rhythm at 170 pounds. At American Top Team, training with all those savages over there. He's focused. Now, when Jake Ellenberger fought Rory MacDonald, he was scared. And, you know, Dana was pissed after that fight. You know, Dana is fun, entertaining guy as he is. You know, he doesn't hold back. And that's one of the reasons why I really like Dana. And, you know, he just kind of wears his heart on the sleeve, you know. And he says, you know, he's just disgusted with that fight, basically. And Jake fought scared. You know, he didn't want to close the distance. He couldn't find a way to do it. He sometimes you gotta let your nuts out. You gotta let your balls out, and you gotta put it on the line. And Jake wasn't willing to do that. You know, and I believe Robbie Lawler is going to be willing to do that. And I'm going with the upset here. Robbie Lawler, first round knockout. You know, he's going to go in there, try his best to close the distance. And you know, with Rory, looking at his opponents. He hasn't fought somebody like Robbie who's got that kind of power and is not scared at all. And the one guy who he did fight with that was Carlos Condit, and we saw how that fight turned out for Rory. You know, winning, and then he lost. With Robbie, he's a different kind of animal. He can go out there in the first round and do it. So I like Robbie here, but like I said, it's not you know, something to be throwing serious money at or something like that, in my opinion. But I like him nonetheless. Now here's another upset, and like I said, you guys, this is another interesting one, and that's Sergio Pettis versus Campuzano. Now Campuzano, I'm going with the upset here. Campuzano. Now what do we know about Campuzano? He trains out of Moeller MMA with Figueroa. In my opinion, he's a better fighter than Figueroa. I believe Campuzano's found his focus here. He's coming in real hungry for the win, going up against a big name in MMA, Pettis. Super huge prospect. I can't think of a bigger one of. He's right up there as far as prospects, though. I can't think of somebody who people aren't as hyped to hooch up, which you can reference by the line. The line is ridiculous right now on Sergio, and I believe Campuzano really does have a shot here of winning, and. It'll just be a really interesting situation. And the reason I am so intrigued by this fight is because Duke Rufus, Sergio's and Anthony's and Chico Camus and all these guys, head coach, advised Sergio not to go into the UFC yet. Not yet. Of course, you're UFC quality, and of course, I think you could be a champion, but not yet. And Sergio ignored that advice. And I'm going with Campuzano here for the upset. Big underdog. Another underdog for me. This got to be a world record for me. This really has to be a record for me. It really does. 3 big underdogs that I believe not only can win, but I predict are going to win. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you know what? I'm not in it to be wrong. I'm in it to be right. So next one, Cody Donovan versus Gian Villante. Now, Villante's taking this fight on 9 days notice. 9 days! And Villante's fought a heavyweight before, so I know he wasn't sitting around 205. He was probably sitting in the high 220s, no more, 230, maybe 240. Who God knows when this all gets shaken down. I mean, Villante, 9 days notice. I know he's at a tough cut. I can see it in his face. I can see it in his physique. Right when he went stepped on the scales there, the weigh-ins. I don't need to see any more. I know Villante is gonna gas. If he doesn't gas, I'll be shocked. And I'm a big fan of those guys, Weidman, Villante, Matt Serra, all those Jersey guys. I'm a big fan of those guys. I have a lot of respect for them. And but sometimes when you take a fight on short notice, you've got the balls to do it, but sometimes it doesn't work in your favor. And I think he's playing with fire here. Donovan, excellent BJJ, black belt under Nate Marquardt. Training in Grudge with all those beasts up there. Trevor Whitman's up there in Colorado in Elevation. That's just an interesting matchup. I got to go with Cody Donovan here. He was supposed to fight Robert Drysdale, the jiu-jitsu guy, but he was found to have like a 20 or 30 to whatever testosterone level, so he was taking some shit and. That's unfortunate to see, but you play, you pay. So 3 upsets there, guys. I can't believe this: Lawler, Campuzano, and Donovan. Hoo-wee! And then too many variables, so this is also a do not bet. It's Ali Bagautinov versus God, I'm drawing a blank on this little guy's name. Tim Elliott. Now, this is an interesting matchup. This is very interesting. Ali, what do we know about him? He's a Greg Jackson fighter, training with Perez, training with all his Russian brothers. This guy is tough, man. When he went down there in Brazil, fought his heart out. Very well-rounded fighter, very close on the lines. Tim Elliott, awesome fighter as well. Very exciting. I can't wait for this particular fight. No money on it, but Ali's a slight dog there, and it's very interesting. But you can't bet every single fight. You just can't do it. And that's one I'm going to sit back, enjoy, just like the main event. Enjoy it. But I am leaning Ali here. So Ali for the pick. The Russian, my Russian friends haven't let me down, and Greg Jackson hardly ever lets me down, if ever. So got to go with him here. And moving on to the last one I'm going to break down here. That's Dunham versus Cerrone. Oh yeah, one more thing. I could talk on and on and on and on about these fights. I could talk about a matchup for an hour probably, each particular matchup. But I try to sum it up. There's a lot more research than I sometimes talk about. I just talk about the things that stick out in my head, points that stand out. But it's not the only research that I've done. So it's something to keep in mind when I'm making my picks. And like I said before, I've been wrong about stuff. I've been right. But if you want more information, just take a look at MMA Dawgs.com. Proven track record, all through a third party, verified. So yeah, check it all out. Evan Dunham versus Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Wow, what a good fight. Dunham gets robbed left and right. I mean, this poor guy, he just robbed left and right. He's an excellent fighter. He should win this fight, but with the judges, you never know. Donald Cerrone, he's fought, I believe, 2 months ago. He says he's got the fire back. My first initial thoughts on this fight were Dunham all the way, but with Cerrone, Dunham has a knack for getting caught in these fire wars. Just boom, 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 trading, exchanging, and that's not a good idea with Cerrone. So I can't bet it, although I do lean Dunham here. And that's it. Sums it up. 12 fights. Can't wait for these. Now the dog of the night. The dog of the night, bet at your own risk, of course, and that is Cody Donovan, sitting at around plus 305. Ooh-wee. For you guys who love dogs, there's a nice dog I like. Parlay of the night, bet at your own risk, of course, and that is Evans and Leites. That equals around plus 134. Plus 134, some plus money there. In the Hail Mary parlay of the night, bet at your own risk. Evans, Leites, Woodley, and Story, plus 547. So about 5.5 to 1. That's interesting there. And then my Hail Mary parlay of the night in Brazil hit, and so that was good. And it's just parlays are risky. If you go to do a parlay, you have to be real careful. Anything above 2 hardly ever hits. But if you're smart about it, you can hit them. Round robin of 2s. So these are, I'm not, jumping up and down about them with fistful of Benjamins in my hand or anything like that. But, round robins of 2s are interesting, especially when you not only, value aside, forget about value. If you think a fighter can beat another one and the odds are ridiculous, hey, round robins of 2s, bet at your own risk, of course. That's Donovan, Campuzano, Lawler, and Woodley. So you will have a total of 6 bets. So that'll be 6 bets there. Something tiny, something small, something you could wipe your ass with. Something something that you don't care about the slightest bit on. So that would be 6 wagers. Okay, so that would be Donovan, Campuzano, Lawler, and Woodley. Of course, this is just for fun. If you're into this kind of thing, if you're watching this, if you're 30 minutes deep in this, you've got to love it. So so that's the round robin, but I do want to share that one because it does interest me, and it's something that I'll be playing just because, like I said before, just right when the highway looks empty and there's no highway patrol in sight, you hit the pedal, let's get this thing in overdrive, and then there's the speed radar gun, and you're busted. You know what I mean? So one guaranteed pick. Sugar, Rashad Evans. And, man, I am just excited for this fight card. Overall, as a person who loves MMA, I am just really looking forward to it. Now, if you're watching this video after, then, I still appreciate you even being interested in what the hell I have to say. And I encourage you, I welcome you to give one of our paper events. Try one of them out. Like I said, I go into this with the best of intentions. The picks that I give you guys, the betting picks, are the ones that I'm playing, and sometimes I haven't even played them yet. But that is how important it is for me to share the picks that I believe are going to win with you, especially with so many years that I had to struggle and learn and then figure this game out, and I go back a long ways when just a lot of experience going, when it comes to who's gonna win, who's not gonna win, value, no value. But the biggest thing is just picking winners, and that's what I do. You can go on to the website, MMADawgs.com, and check it all out for yourself, My dog Dan, he's doing a great job with that all, keeping that all updated, posting everything. And I put my money where my mouth is. If my service that I'm providing, that I'm selling, isn't giving you winners, then what right do I have to charge you on top of whatever loss you had more money? So I always refund right away, no hesitation. Right away, I have my dog on it. He refunds the cash that same night. And thankfully we've only had to do that a couple times, and those were times where things just like in that movie they say the white men can't jump. When they're playing basketball, sometimes the ball just doesn't fall. It doesn't fall through the hoop sometimes. It's just a foo bar. But those nights, I put them behind me in the rear view. I don't even see those anymore. Those are done. And just learning every day. It's just a learning experience. Every day, try to learn more and more and more and more. Because when you think you figure it all out, that's when you really get caught, and that's when you really lose. So yeah, check out the website. I encourage you guys, because the bottom line is you guys are gonna bet. I know you guys are gonna bet, and I know it sucks to have to refill your account, reload the account, and it's just terrible. Having to lose. The UFC's worth approximately $2 billion. That's a ton of money going around. There's a ton of sponsorships, this and that, and who's sponsoring this and who's sponsoring that. Nike's involved, Burger King. I mean, just the biggest companies in the world. And anytime there's a lot of money being made, there's an opportunity for smart people to make money on it as well. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. Don't be dumb, don't be stupid, but don't be a dummy. But there's definitely money to be made. For that I'm sure, and there's nothing to be afraid of if you can control yourself and you don't wager more than you can afford to lose, because it's never a fun weekend when people start to lose. So yeah, that pretty much sums it all up. And I had to open up these windows here. It was getting so hot with the TV behind me and the sound system and all this and all that. But that pretty much sums it all up. Sugar, Rashad, Evans. And I wish you guys nothing but the best. What do they say? How they say it? They say, fortune favors the brave. Good luck, dude.